My question is, where are you in your journey? Where are you in your flight path? I got more of that to come, some answers, some pretty maybe corny metaphors, I don't know, but more to come. Aviation metaphors. They're popping up. I've been plane spotting a lot this past week at LAX. It's fantastic. Me and my wife go down there getting inspiration, filming some fantastic footage of all the big heavies landing, the 747s, the A380s, the 787s, the A350s, the 777s, all of that aviation lingo. Of course, it's relating back to the ramp mindset. Check out my book on Amazon. Get yourself a copy. There's also an ebook on Amazon, The Ramp Mindset, all of these wonderful lessons that I've caught through my own writing of this fantastic book. Now, what's coming up? I got asked an incredible question the other day by a fantastic human being, Zach, shout out later. He asked me, where do I fit in? Where would I see myself fitting in? I had to stop for a second. He reflected back at me. He said, you fit in at an executive level, combining all my years of media, TV, production, content, experience, spirituality, etc. And it just took me back to more aviation metaphors, and especially the 747. That iconic queen of the skies, the Boeing 747, the jumbo jet, has been flying for 50 years, maybe more. Now, Joe Sutter and the Incredibles, that was an incredible vision, a feat of a dream come true, manifested. That iconic plane is still revered today. I know I did a video about it last week, but it's too good to not talk about it. Now, the question is, where are you on your journey? What flight path are you taking? What elevation are you flying at? I took out my big camera to LAX. I was shooting a lot of stuff on my iPhone, but I wanted to get some better footage. I haven't transferred it yet, but I've filmed it off the screen with my iPhone, so I'll insert some of those shots. There was some fantastic metaphors that came up. I had the pleasure of a phone call with an incredible human being, Zach Hornevar. He's an incredible human being, an exceptional content creator in his own right. He manages massive content creators. Air-Rack. I met him maybe 7 years ago. He was doing big stuff back then. He's been in the business for a long time. Check out his content on LinkedIn. It's very inspirational, extremely uplifting. And he was gracious enough to give me a phone call. He's a busy person, so I really appreciate it. I'm so grateful. Now, he asked me a great question. I was talking about, just questioning where I fit in the new kind of content realm, YouTube, etc. He knows my background in media and television production and branded content as a director, executive producer, director of photography, etc. It was a great question, but what was even better was Zach, who is extremely insightful, very kind, by the way, very humble, integrity-driven person. He reflected back at me, which is what you want from a mentor or a guru or a teacher. You want them to be able to reflect back at you. They give you a hand up, not a hand out. And so Zach very succinctly just reflected back at me that he sees me as someone who can fly a lot higher, at the executive level, but with all of this other experience that I bring with me. Now, of course, what that did, with all my trips this past week to LAX plane spotting, doing what I love, watching these incredible jets land, what that did was it opened up my imagination to what does that question really mean, and what does that mean for me? Of course, with my book, The Ramp, you've all seen it. I don't need to flash it up again. Check it out. Go to my Amazon link. It'll be in the description. Grab yourself a copy. It's a wonderful, it's a children's chapter book, but it's a great story of a journey and life and dreams and transformation. Anyway, Zach's question, where do I fit in? I have so much experience So much to offer. Forget sometimes when you're just doing a resume or a job application, for example, or talking to a potential client about a project or coaching. What I realized was that, like a plane, like in aviation, myself, I can fit into different altitudes, right? I know that I can fly at 7,000 feet or in the trenches, as we say. I've been there, I've done it. I can produce, I can direct. I can direct a team of a documentary crew. I can jump in and help film. So that's the 7,000 foot kind of elevation. Now I can also be at 17,000 foot where I am directing the project, producing the project, making sure it's shepherded and it's steered in the right direction to a point of success or a positive ROI if you're doing branded content. That's the mid-level altitude. Now, I'm also very comfortable at flying at a lot higher, cruising altitude of a jumbo jet, say 35,000 feet, 37,000 feet, where you're kind of at a higher level, creatively overlooking it, being the vision, guiding the teams, making sure they're okay, they're safe, they're comfortable, they're confident, giving them some mentoring if they need it, if they require it. I'm very comfortable at that level. What also came up, in which another, not an aircraft kind of, that I've been spotting in the night sky of late, is the International Space Station. That's operating at a very high level. I am comfortable at that level as well. What does that mean? Really kind of being the vision, being the creative, like what happened with me with my book, The Ramp. Catching that creative vision. I'm very happy with that. And then passing it off to a team to execute that vision. I'm comfortable with that. So what is your elevation? What is your ideal elevation? Are you comfortable in different elevations? Are you just happy just cruising along at 35,000 feet? That question is a fantastic question by Zach. I'm grateful for it. It made me think. A lot of stuff came through. Now, what else came through was the wonderful metaphor of a flight path, of a journey. Takeoff, we have a flight path where the plane is going, landing. Now, same as life, right? You're born, and then at some point, your body is going to expire. Right? Maybe not if you're Brian Johnson. Check him out, Blueprint. But along that path, there's undulations. There's turbulence, right? Like the journey of an aircraft. Now, you can adjust your altitude to get in and out of different weather patterns, different turbulence. Just remember that. I've had to do that so many times. I'm sure all of you have. So just remember that. There's opportunities to adjust your altitude. It's okay, right? Now, also with the landing, maybe you have in your mind where you are heading. What is your destination? Maybe that's fixed in your mind. Well, sometimes you have to adjust it based on life circumstances. It just comes up. Stuff happens, right? Now, with a plane as well, if there's a hurricane that's happening or a, God forbid, a volcano eruption like they had in Southeast Asia a few years ago that affected air traffic around the world, you may have to change your destination. It's okay. Just pivot. That's the word that's coming up these last couple of years, especially in the TV and film industry. Pivot. Change your destination. It's okay. Right? I worked with Lionel Richie years ago. Fantastic human being. We did a beautiful documentary that followed his family history. And he would regale us with stories at night over dinner and buy us dinner. And he just would joke sometimes, if you're not happy with where you are, man, just get up and move. Now, same with that aircraft. If there's a problem at the destination where you're going, or if the destination's not available anymore, just pivot. Change your destination. It's okay, right? Now, there's another great metaphor, a touch and go. Touch and goes is where planes, they mainly do it when they're training, practicing landing. They come in, they touch down, and they take off right away. You've probably seen it. You may have even experienced it. I experienced it in an A380 once landing at Sydney. If there's not enough gap left between the aircraft that's taking off and the plane that's landing, right? There's a problem. I don't know the technicalities of it. My buddy Joel will know. He's a pilot. Many of you will know. But the plane it touches down, but then it has to thrust up and take off again. It's a fantastic experience. People get a bit scared, but I wasn't scared. I was just in awe of this massive 4 engines on this A380 taking off again. You can do that in life as well. It may not always be a smooth landing. Just take off again. Don't get stuck. The other thing is the holding pattern. Is that where you are? Maybe you're in a holding pattern. That happens a lot with planes. They get stuck in a holding pattern when the airport, the destination airport, is not ready. That happens too, right? It's okay. Don't be stuck there too long. Look for an out. But the holding pattern, it's interesting, right? Now, also, planes come in to the ramp. When they land, they come into the ramp. Check out my book on Amazon. It's called The Ramp, Graham Steele. And they rest. They refuel, right? They get fixed up if they need to. A bit of air in their tires, extra gas, right? You can do that too. It's okay to rest. One big one was, sometimes we think we're in the right place and we land in the right airport, but it might not be the right place. Start your engines up and take off again. Now, I just heard Mr. Beast sideline talking about not being happy whether he's going to give up YouTube. We can always change aircraft. He's got plenty of money. There's other opportunities. Look at when you book a flight online, you can look at the equipment. The equipment is the type of aircraft. Maybe you're not happy flying in a 737 or a 777. Maybe you want to take the flight that's got the 787 or the A380. Change your aircraft. He can change his aircraft to something bigger. Maybe he wants to do bigger projects, So there's so many things that applied to life. For me, it came up, and I thank Zach for posing that question for me. And I'll leave you with this. There is a flight path. There is a destination. Planes just don't take off. There is a flight path. I believe that the universe, God, Spirit, has that flight path mapped out. It's all going to be okay. Change your elevation, right? If things get too choppy, do a touch and go. That's fine too. Stay in the holding pattern, not too long. Also, come in for landing. Rest and refuel, right? Rest up and refuel, and then take off again. Fantastic. Please, in the description, check out my newsletter. Check out my YouTube channel. Check into the Amazon store. My book is there. My ebook is there. I'd love to catch up. Let me know if you need support. Hit me up. Send me a message. Take care. Have a great weekend. Ciao. What have we here? We have a Qatar Airways.